Pushing Daisies is a show about a man who can bring people back to life with a touch, and the adventures he has with his childhood sweetheart and best friend. Sadly, the show only aired for 2 seasons between 2007 and 2009, but has developed a cult following in the years since. And here's why you should watch it. In the golden age of peak TV, it's easy to miss a great TV show that doesn't make a lot of noise. I definitely didn't watch this on TV when it came out. I watched it years and years later. It's the kind of quirky and heartwarming and also visually stunning show that draws in the viewer and keeps them coming back for more. And unfortunately, despite critical acclaim, the show was cancelled just after 2 seasons. So if you've never seen Pushing Daisies, maybe you've never even heard about it before, like it said, it came out quite a while ago, you're definitely missing out on one of the better shows of the past few decades, and here's why. The premise of Pushing Daisies follows Ned, starring Lee Pace as a pie maker who can bring people back to life with a touch. So he brings back his childhood sweetheart, Chuck, played by Anna Friel, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He brings her back to life after she is murdered, and then the two of them go on adventures together with Ned's friend Emerson Cod. Of course, with such an ability, there would be a catch, and the catch is that if you leave someone alive for more than 60 seconds, someone else will die in their place. So when Chuck is unalived again, Ned has to find her killer and solve the crime so that he can touch her and bring her back to life again. Just such an interesting premise. If you could bring someone back and just ask them one question, like who did it? So interesting. So in addition to this kind of crime element, Pushing Daisies is also a love story. Ned falls in love with Chuck, the daughter of the waitress who was killed when she was young. However, because Ned brought her back to life for more than a minute, he can't touch her again, ever again. If he does, he kills her. And obviously, these two friends turned lovers attempt to find very creative ways to be together without touching, which leads to some, like I said, incredibly creative sequences set in like zero gravity and underwater. And things get complicated and creative, and Chuck begins to remember her past life and starts asking questions about her death, questions that Ned is not necessarily ready to answer. And just think of any love story that you've seen on TV and take away them holding hands or kissing or hugging. They can't do any of those things. So just the creative problem solving they came up with for that is so interesting. Pushing Daisies is a visually stunning show with a great humor, great writing, and characters. The performances are terrific across the board. Ned and Emerson especially steal the show. The world that the show takes place in is unique and interesting with colorful scenery and costuming. And above all, it's just super fun to watch. Unfortunately, Pushing Daisies is not available on any streaming service at the moment. However, you can find both seasons on DVD or Blu-ray if you look hard enough, and trust me, it'll definitely be worth it. It's an incredibly funny show while still managing to tell emotional stories. The dialogue is sharp and witty, and the characters are rich and fully fleshed out. The world building is impeccable, and every episode is directed with style and flair, and it's truly a one-of-a-kind show. Even though it's been more than 10 years since the show aired, Pushing Daisies feels more relevant than ever. So if you're looking for a smart and funny, touching show that will stay with you long after you finish watching it, I would highly recommend Pushing Daisies. The only show that comes to mind that I can kind of relate it to is Dead Like Me, which was another short-lived show, but to me that show had a much darker tone. This is so bright and vibrant, so it's hard to even compare. It's quirky and delightful, and with an excellent cast and gorgeous visuals. Seriously, every frame looks like it could be used as wallpaper. The color palette gives the show this otherworldly feel. The pilot is intriguing and well-paced, and plenty of plot twists to keep the viewers engaged, and perhaps most importantly, Pushing Daisies is just fun. It's just a fun show to watch, and in a world that can often feel dark and cynical, this show is a much-needed breath of fresh air. It's one of the more original shows I've ever seen. Clever writing, great cast. Trust me, after one episode, you're gonna be hooked. So let me know in the comments, have you seen this? Have you seen similar shows? Another movie that comes to mind is almost Big Fish, just with like the color palette and everything like that. But yeah, it's truly unique. It's pretty hard to compare, but let me know in the comments if you've heard of this before or if you've seen it.